Great books on the spiritual path. Okay, so here's an unusual one you wouldn't normally pick as the spiritual evolved book or something like that. Witches, you might not be able to see this. It's like this annoying face thing. It makes everything mess. Anyway, it's Witches, Midwives, and Nurses. And it's a history of women healers, Barbara Ehrenreich and Deirdre English. So, in my adventures as a woman, let's call it that, adventures. You know, there's all kinds of things that you learn as a teenager or not learn about your body, about sex, about God, about where God is and where you're not. And also, then you become a mother, if you're lucky enough to become a mother. And then you learn a whole lot about the whole medical system and the way women's bodies are treated there. And then hormones, there's like all these untapped, undiscovered pieces of information about how your body works. And then if you're going into spirituality, meditation, holistic healing, holistic work, new age medicine, all these things, you're just like, wait, why do I not know anything about the way my own body works? And it's because the dominant system basically has taught us that a woman who is in tune with feminine nature and also sexuality, and that doesn't mean sexuality in the typical puritanical American way, I'll come back to that. Sexuality in terms of like, this is what my sex organs do and can do, and this is what I know because I'm a woman and I have those sex organs, this is how I'm made. You start to just realize there's a propaganda machine that has been persisting for so many generations to teach us as women that our intuition and all these things that are vital and inherent to us are, have been destroyed, have been abused, have been marginalized, and the way to uncover them means that in doing so, you are going to disrupt people's notions of what a woman should be based on this patriarchal system we live under. So, witches, midwives, and nurses. So, women healers. A witch has become this kind of like mockery of what, I don't know, she just has a hat and she looks kooky and she lives in a weird house or something, right? But in the past, she was someone who just was in tune with the earth, right? Marginalized, like a peasant. But when shit hits the fan, her empirical evidence, her ability to discern, to see, and because she knew the fruits of the earth, because she knew the land, because she knew storms, she knew nature, she could come in and do a kind of healing work that would help people. But when the medical industry started to rise, and this is what I learned in having 3 babies and trying to understand how I'm supposed to give birth in this mechanical, robotic way, there was a propaganda and, aligned with that patriarchal Christian church that says, we need to conquer this thing called woman, this body that we don't have control over, that has these cycles, that gives birth when it wants to, right? Like, we have to fix this because we, the industry, need to be in control. And so the witches and the midwives and the women who are in tune with that sensual, sexual, nature, earthy energy, who knew how to cure through tinctures, who knew how to use herbs, who could tap into the essence of things. They were then cast out and seen as these major threats. And so that started in Europe and started to sort of whittle its way over to America when you have all this sort of, religion, right? It's been the cause of the greatest distress. So, a little bit here. The church associated women with sex, and all pleasure in sex was condemned because it could only come from the devil. Witches were supposed to have gotten pleasure from copulation with the devil, despite the icy cold organ he was reputed to possess, and they in turn infected men. Lust in either man or wife then was blamed on the female. On the other hand, witches were accused of making men impotent and of causing their penises to disappear. As for female sexuality, witches were accused, in effect, of giving contraceptive aid and of performing abortions. So, you have all of this happening with the Catholic Church and other Protestant churches because witches were a few things. It's all sexual, right? They're going to take over sexually and we have no control. So let's just get them out of here. Then they are organized. Don't let women organize. Oh shit. Then accused of having magical powers affecting health, harming and healing. Why is that different than doctors? I don't know. And then charged specifically with possessing medical and obstetrical skills. Anyway, I have learned in my journey that if you question authority as a woman, and you also do not wear like a habit and like you have, breasts and you have shoulders. Oh my God, shoulders in a church in Europe. There's something in the psyche, in the ancestry, in the energy that says that woman, they might not even use the word, right? But there's been enough generations of saying that woman must be cast out. Now, she's scary, she's evil. And we tend to associate any sexual, sensual woman with evil, whether we're even consciously aware of it or not. So, let me tie Jesus in here. The way forward and understanding divine femininity. You can't take Jesus out of it because the dominant hierarchy has Jesus, right? The Supreme Court has Jesus, the presidents have Jesus, everybody has Jesus. So the women, healers, midwives, these women who are sexually empowered and sensual need Jesus too. And so when we get Jesus, call me a witch, when we get Jesus on our side here and we're working with him and owning the power of the feminine, the world as we know it is over and a much better world emerges. See if you believe me.